Hey everybody, in this really quick video I'm going to show you how you can crop your portrait options to be a 4:3 aspect ratio. So I'm going to show you how to do it basically and then some issues that you might run into. So let's just start with our Audrey Hepburn picture here. So this is a square photo, so it's not quite a 4:3 aspect ratio yet. So what you're going to do is go up to your crop button. And then you want to go over here to where it says aspect ratio and then choose 4:3. And that will make it into a 4:3 aspect ratio. Now there is the option to turn it into a landscape, but we don't want that. We want to hit make portrait. So if it defaults to landscape, you want to switch it to make portrait. And then I think this is a pretty good head and shoulders shot. It's showing a little bit of her shoulders. If you wanted to, you could crop it a little bit more, but what you don't want to do is bring it in like really close up here. Okay, so you want to leave a little bit of wiggle room for these shoulders in your portrait. And then you would hit save. And then to print it and make sure it stays a 4:3 aspect ratio, you go up to your print button. And then you select the printer that you want. So for you guys, it might be the library or your printer at home. But notice how it made the picture more zoomed in. We don't want that. What we want to do is make sure it's on portrait orientation. And then we want to make sure that we do this, hit shrink to fit. Because if you do fill page, it actually makes the aspect ratio a little bit different. So make sure that you hit shrink to fit. And you do want to try to make the photo size as full page as you possibly can. So shrink to fit, make sure you're on full page, and make sure you are on portrait orientation. And then you would just hit print. Okay, so that's one thing that might happen. So let's use our Kristen Stewart picture here for a second. So notice that this is a really long rectangle. I'm not sure if the 4:3 aspect ratio is going to work with this, but we're going to try it. So let's go back to crop, go to 4:3, and then see it turned it into a landscape. So we want to go make portrait. Now look, this is very zoomed in. I think that this would still work because you're not losing the top of the head, you're not losing the ears or the cheeks. This is okay. You can still see the top of the shoulders. But if it were so zoomed in where it was like this, I think this is just a little bit too tight. So you want to make sure that when you're cropping, you get enough space for the top of the shoulders, all the sides of the face, etc. Okay. Let's do one more thing that might happen as you are cropping and printing, and let's look at our Harry Styles picture here. This is a full body shot, and remember that for your portrait project, you want to have a head and shoulders cropped 4:3. So let's go ahead and see what happens when we do 4:3. So we have our aspect ratio set, and then we need to zoom way in to get his head into the shot. So this is an okay picture, like in terms of cropping. However, now it's very pixelated because it was already like not a huge file size, and then when we crop it down to just his head and shoulders, it's a lot smaller now. So look what happens when we try to print this. We choose portrait. This is the biggest it goes. If we do shrink to fit, like this is the biggest the picture is going to get. You're just going to have to find a bigger photo in general. So look up, if you want to do Harry Styles headshot, something that's going to just be a bigger photo in general. And just as a helpful reminder, when you're looking up pictures, when you click on a photo and you hover over it, you see this number right here. As long as it's a headshot, like let's say, like this is a good headshot here. See how small this number is? If we were to save this, let me just save this really quick and show you guys what would happen. If we were to save this photo, it's already a little bit blurry, so let's just make sure it's already a 4:3. If we were to print it, let's just see what it would look like. Okay, so it's not terribly small. It's a little bit small. You're not going to get it to be bigger than this. But, you could work with this for your portrait project. But definitely if it was like this picture, for example, that's just a little bit too small. So as you are looking for a photo, search specifically for Head and Shoulders shots. Try to find a file that's got the biggest size possible. So see, this is like a 2000 pixel photo. So when you use this, well, that's saved it as a web page file, which you can't use. But let's say that, I don't know, can I use this one? This is a big picture too. Yeah, here we go. So if you were to crop this to a 4:3, make portrait, let's bring it in just a little bit and save. So this, in theory, when you print it, it's going to be huge. Yep. So if you can find something with a lot of pixels, something like in the thousands, that's going to be your best option. I hope this was helpful, and happy portrait hunting!